Hey everyone, welcome back to Our Minds Lifestyle. We focus on finances, relationships, and more. Hey everyone, my name's Kaydon Belle.
And I'm Ethan Belle.
And welcome back to Our Minds Lifestyle. We have an amazing guest today, and I'll let her introduce herself.
My name is Brittany Michelle.
And let them know what you do and where they can find you.
I am an artist. I create signs for entrepreneurs, companies, businesses, real estate agents, all the things. You can find me on Instagram at Brittany Michelle, the artist.
Let's get it. I like that. That's what's up.
And today we are talking about how to not let fear hold you back.
Okay.
So, for example, or I'll start with you. What is something that you had to overcome that you were scared that you recently overcame?
Oh my God, recently? So many things. It's so many things, y'all. Traffic. I can't really go into deep detail about this one because things are still in the process.
Okay.
Things are still happening. But this is the latest fear that I had to overcome. I sat down and I spoke with some investors.
Really?
I did. I was so scared, y'all. I've never done anything like that before in my life. So
By yourself?
By myself.
So how did you get to that? I'm sorry. What got you to the point where you're able to do that? Like, what made you like, I'm just going to go ahead and pull the strings and do it?
I just had to think to myself, like, the worst that could happen is they say no. And if all else fails, I at least gained some sort of experience. Now I've done something different that I've never done before, and I have experience in another field that I've never touched before. So I was like, if anything else, I'm going to grow from this. I'm not going to fall. So
Right.
I just conjured up the faith and I just did it. I just did it. Yeah.
And I think that's extremely important because a lot of times I would say I used to be this person where I used to let fear talk me out of a lot of things. And then like with fear, you automatically start thinking about everything that could go wrong. And you're like, well, dang, this ain't gonna work out, and then you don't do it, and then it never works out because you never did it.
Yeah.
Did it go well?
It went well.
That's what's up.
It went well.
Yeah.
At the end of the meetup, one of the ladies, she was just like, congratulations. So I'm like, okay, this is a good sign. Nothing is set in stone, nothing is official, but it went well. Yeah, it
That's
did.
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to Brittany.
Right.
Thank
I'm
y'all.
excited. You gotta let us know once you're able to talk
I
about it.
will.
You gotta
I
let us
definitely
know.
will. I have to come back and tell
Yeah.
y'all about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, like, what got you into, like, doing epoxy signs and stuff like that? Or art in general?
YouTube, y'all.
YouTube.
YouTube University.
Yeah.
I graduated a few times. 2020, quarantine. We all in the house. Nothing but the TV to watch. So I'm watching YouTube videos, trying to figure out how I can make money from home. And you know how the videos just play and they just go.
Right.
Randomly, I just walked in a room one day and I saw this lady. She was making like this tray. It looked like marble. And she was doing it with the resin. I didn't know what it was at the time, but I was intrigued. And I was like, what is this? I want to try it.
Yeah.
I looked at the description box, went to the store the next day, bought all the materials, came home in the dining room, like in the dining room in the kitchen. And I just started experimenting.
That's dope.
And I liked it. I posted it on Facebook. I made coasters.
Okay.
I posted it on Facebook. And
Like coasters for like cups? We're going to be hollering at
yeah.
We definitely need it.
Well, I don't make them anymore, but I got y'all.
Okay,
I got y'all.
All right,
Yeah. And I posted it on Facebook, like, just look, y'all, look what I made. And people started requesting me to make coasters for them. And it just turned into this thing. And then I went from coasters to trays to cutting boards to home decor, letter blocks, wall art, to now signs. So it just snowballed into this. Yeah.
And I feel like, especially now with, you have so many creators now, regardless if that's content creation, business owners. Because I look at business owners as a form of creation as well. Because you're taking something out of pretty much imagination and making it real. So I feel like the market for that is unlimited. Because even if somebody just wants a sign for their house, or like, I keep calling them signs, but really it's art in general. So it's like you can have a beautiful art piece in your house or wherever you want it. So that's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. When she blow it, you our new sugar mama.
Right.
Not sugar mama.
The first application.
Y'all are hilarious. I got y'all.
All right,
y'all. We locked in.
All right, for sure.
We locked
I heard
in.
that.
We locked in.
Too.
We locked in.
Yeah, that's
But that's amazing because I never knew that. But so I found you on a Social Proof podcast. You were on there and they were talking about your signs. I think you were actually on. I think you came on there and sat down and they were just talking about because you went on there before, right? Mm-hmm. So we were in Arizona and that's when I started watching it and I seen you and I was like, "Ooh, I like her work." So I started following you even before we moved to Georgia. I was like, "We are going to meet. We're going to talk somehow."
That's
and
crazy.
Look, we're here today. So
That's
I'm excited about
crazy.
that because I literally probably started following you, probably like a year and a half ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I loved your signs. So that was from all the way from Arizona. So you got people in Arizona.
Thank you,
I like your
girl.
signs. And I
Yeah.
started talking about it. And now anybody that talks about signs, I always bring you up and I show them their page. Like, look, this is what she can do for you.
Right.
So
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That really
You
does
really-
mean a lot to me, y'all. I started in the kitchen.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah. What was it?
some of the songs.
Yeah.
I knew
it's
about
called-
that.
Was it? You was a something about the. You know, rappers always talk about the kitchen.
They do talk about the
Yeah.
kitchen a lot. Dang, you gotta think about what that is.
It's
I might have to
logo,
use
right? Or something
that.
like that.
Yeah.
No.
Huh?
What's
I
it?
don't know. We're gonna butcher it if we
We
try.
But that's so. So what were you doing for work? You got laid off, and then you started looking into work.
No, y'all, I quit my job in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
This is before I didn't have anything. I don't disclaimer. I do not recommend anybody do this. I am not recommending this to anyone ever at all. Okay,
Right.
It was a journey, but I quit my job in March 2019. My dad and my stepmom called me and told me that he was diagnosed with ALS, which is a terminal disease.
Oh no.
And so at that point, prior to that, I already was not liking my job. I was going in, like, dreading going in. It was just like a dark cloud was over my head every day that I walked in. So I was already not liking that because I'm not even that type of person. And so they called me and I thought, like, I had to sit and think, like, is this, like, what do I want for my life? Because he was young. My dad's 51. So at the time, this was 2019. So he was like 40 something. I can't do the math.
Yeah.
But he was like 40 something and I'm like, dang, like, what did he do with his life that he probably really enjoyed about, living? And so I didn't want that for me. So I'm like, I don't know what I want to do, but I know I don't want to do this.
Right.
So I'm leaving. So I went to HR. I asked them, how do I
So
leave
that's
properly?
the first time you overcame fear, or did you not have?
Yes.
fear?
Oh, no.
That's the first time.
I had fear.
I'm
had
like, you know how
fear.
many people will literally stay in a job that they hate
Yeah, for years.
for years?
For their entire life.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that. So
And see, that's the thing. There's so many
shout out
types
to
of-
you.
Yeah. Oh, we were coming together.
She's like that's because a lot of people like they won't get over that fear because they don't know where life is going to take them,
Right.
and
yeah.
then two maybe they're the type of people that also just want to complain and don't know, like the fact that you knew that wasn't for you, that's another blessing because a lot of people just don't know, like you're
Yeah.
probably going through this because you're in something that's just not meant for you.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, like, there are different types of fear, right? So you have, different types of stress. So you have the stress where, like that, like something causing you stress, and then you have the stress of, like, solving a problem stress. So with that job stress, like, for example, you were extremely unfulfilled at where you were working at, which we can all relate to. So that type of stress is a type of stress that can kill you. That everlasting stress that never lets up. So imagine if you would have stayed there. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You'd probably be looking like you're 70 right now.
No,
you know
for
what I mean?
real. I would be looking real wrinkled and stressed out and have a lot of gray hairs.
Yeah.
It was customer service job too. So yeah,
Yeah.
y'all can only imagine what that was like.
Right.
So yeah.
And you know, honestly,
I was like, I know you need people, but if I could never work with people again, I'll be okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless it's for my own thing. Like
but even then,
I was about to, no, for real. I used to say that too until, like, no offense to any of my clients. I love y'all all. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all so much. I do. But even with that, I'm like, okay, I got to figure out how I'm going to delegate this part of the business because it's a task. Working with people, it really is. And then especially when they're irate and they're mad and they're angry. I haven't had an irate customer.
Right.
Preferably I don't, but dealing with that on a daily basis, back to back for 8 hours straight, it took a toll. So I had to go.
You went to your job, you just gave them a notice, or you just left?
I went to HR because this was my first time ever quitting a job. I never quit it. Well, I'm lying. I definitely quit jobs for sure. I quit a lot of jobs. I quit all my jobs, but this was the first time I wanted to do it proper. This was one of the best jobs I ever had. So if anything went wrong, I wanted to make sure that I could have somewhere that I could come back to. So I went to HR, asked them how to go about doing it, and it was like, you just put in a notice. I'm like, okay, does it have to be 2 weeks? Like, she was like, no, you can just put it in right now. I'm like, okay. So went to the desk, typed up my notice.
I will be back tomorrow.
That's awesome.
And I took it to my supervisor, and they did everything they could to try to get me to stay. They offered me a raise. They offered me a new position, and I was just like, I can't do it. Yeah. And I'm the type of person, if you offer me more money, or if you offer me, I'm going to take it. Yeah. So at that point, when it didn't even faze me, I knew I had to go. Yeah, because I never turned down money.
Yeah.
So, I put in my notice, y'all, and I went home. The first thing that I did, I left, and I went to Walmart, and I bought a desk. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I'm like, okay, I'm have to figure out something now, so I'm going to get a desk to sit my laptop on and figure this out. So I went in Walmart, bought a desk, put the desk together, and from there, I just was YouTubing how to make money from home. And then one day that video popped up. Before then, I was making like arts and crafts, like custom cups or custom shirts and like things here and there. But nothing popped off until I started making items with the resin.
Yeah.
And now the rest is history from there, because like you perfected your craft, and then now that's your main source of income.
That's my main source of income.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brittany, y'all. Clap it up for her. That is amazing.
Shout out to God.
Right. Shout out to God, because we definitely
shout out to God.
It had to be him that brought that video up on the screen. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank y'all.
So like, I don't think I covered the other type of stress. So, like, as an entrepreneur, what do you feel like was the biggest hurdle that you had to overcome, where like you finally got it past that hurdle?
Ooh, that's tough. It's been so many hurdles in entrepreneurship. Yeah. The hardest, the toughest. I don't know. It's been so many, like literally so many. I will say this, and this might come off maybe a little shocking, but the fact that I have to, like, talking to other people, that was a hurdle for me. Like, actually having to communicate with the customer to see what they wanted. Like, to talk to them, that was a hurdle for me, because I used to be, like, such an introvert and so to myself and only talk to the people that I know. Like, I never stepped outside to, like, try to get to know anybody else or introduce myself or have to communicate with anybody else that I wasn't familiar with. Yeah. So to actually have to talk to someone else about that was a hurdle for me. Yeah. So I heard of what it was.
That the whole time.
I'm still overcoming that.
Right.
Yeah, I'm still overcoming that. Being here, posting on social media, like recording videos, telling people what I do.
You know what's crazy? You do a lot of videos where you're talking in your car and stuff now. That's a big one for you.
That one actually isn't hard for me. The hard part for me with that is posting it, but recording it isn't hard for me because it's just, I don't know, it's just me. I'm talking. It's like authentic. It's natural. I don't have to think about, oh, what do I have to say? Those videos are easy because it's just natural. When it comes to business, I'm in my mind like, okay, what's the pain point, or how do I articulate this to make them understand? Like, it's like different. Yeah. I think about it differently, but those videos come natural because it's just me just really being authentic with what I'm
So
saying.
because you believe in your craft, I guess my biggest question for you is, now that you're doing both, is there a difference?
Now that I'm doing both what?
As far as like just talking to people and then like how the conversation you're having in your car versus now put someone else in that car with the same because it's probably the same conversation. Do you find a difference, or do you think you're overthinking the conversations that you're having with other people? Because honestly, it could just be as authentic as the car conversation.
Yeah, I think now that I'm doing it so often or more often and consistently, I don't think overthink as much anymore. Like that's starting to go away. But before I would overthink everything, and then I wouldn't want to do it because I thought about all the things that could go wrong.
You
or
talk
all
yourself
the
out of it.
Yeah,
before
exactly.
You even started.
Exactly. So now things are happening way more natural and smoothly than previous. But I think that came with consistency and just pushing past the fear of whatever I would overthink about it, pushing past all of that and just doing it constantly. Like, I feel like overcoming fear is like a constant battle. It's not just, I overcame it. It's like you have to keep overcoming it.
So you can't say, I overcame fear in 3 steps.
Yeah, it's like constant. You have to continuously do it in order for it to no longer be a hurdle.
Yeah, and I feel like with the, especially with you networking outside of, like you said, people that you know, what I found is that when I started networking outside of people that I know, it actually was a lot more pleasant than working with the people that I know. Yeah. Like, cause we're strangers. It's kind of like we're just going off of face value. Like, okay, well, I see this person seems trustworthy. All right, bet. Like, we can go from there. But and then also you're meeting, like, you'll be surprised how like-minded a stranger can be. You know, so like, I think that's amazing, and I feel like that will definitely help you grow because then you can meet people with similar visions, similar goals, and then you never know you both can help catapult each other to that next level.
I completely agree. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So,
I think,
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think I think just even me sitting here today with y'all is a result of me having to overcome the previous fears of talking to people, because if I hadn't started working on that before I even met y'all at the podcast,
I was gonna say
I wouldn't have
like,
even.
You just started. I mean, I don't remember who. Do you remember who started talking to who? You came up to me, I think.
Did I? Probably.
I think so.
I could have. I don't even remember.
I think you overheard something. To be honest, it happened so fast. I don't remember either. But I think
had talked. You approached her because we were looking for the sign for like the podcast.
Oh, I approached her.
Yeah, because you started talking about the somehow you were talking to somebody about your epoxy business. Okay. And you were like, yeah, I think she asked you like, hey, like,
are you saying it right?
Epoxy, yeah, he said it right.
Okay.
Yeah. she might just to make sure.
She cannot wait for it every time. But somehow I remember the conversation going from like talking about the sign you did for social group.
Okay.
And then I was like, yo, that's dope. Like, we should like look into that. And so that's when she approached you.
Okay. Okay, cool. I didn't know. And then we talked for a long time. Right. So like,
I think you had to be like, I gotta go. I got somewhere. I think we eventually the conversations, we started dying down the conversation because I think we both had to get ready to go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's pretty much what it was. Yeah. Because that used to be something that was hard for me, is ending a conversation. That's
kind of still hard for me. On the phone?
In general.
Just in general.
I would, because you know, you ever been in a conversation, we could just like, all right, this conversation's over, but how do I leave? Like, that's hard for me. I don't know how to end a conversation.
Me too.
I'm still working on that.
Me too.
So it's like, I don't even know how to give y'all advice on that because I'm still working on
it. I am too. I really am. Even phone calls, it's like, and that's another thing, like when it comes to talking to clients, some of them just want to keep you on the phone, and it's like, how do I tell them how do I hang up this phone? Like, how do I end this conversation? I need to figure, if y'all got any tips, any advice on how to end a conversation, let us know. Let us know.
So even when it comes to you meeting people, as far as on your social life, do you go up to them or do you wait for them to come to you?
I think it's a little bit of both now. It depends. I will approach you if I have something to say. Like, I won't approach without anything. I just want to be like, hey, just want to introduce myself. Yeah, like if I'll compliment somebody and it might turn into a conversation. But I'll approach them if I have a question or something to actually say. Yeah. That's not, I don't mind doing that.
Yeah. Especially if you're networking with intention. So it's like, Because sometimes before we used to go to networking events and then like not really know what we're networking for. But it's like, for example, we had a project and we went to. I'm like, okay, cool. I need videographers right now. So I'm going in there and I'm scouting out videographers, graphic designers. Okay, perfect, because I know what I'm building. So I think with you knowing what you're building, it kind of makes it a little easier. Like, well, should I even approach this person? Because if you're in like. Then again, you like your business, you could tap into any market. Because somebody can have a tax company and you like, hey, like you need this sign for your office, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. That's the beauty of it. I feel like that's crazy. Like I'm just thinking about that. Like you could really go into any market.
Any market, and the thing is though, when I'm talking to people, I don't always start with my business. I probably never start with my business unless it's like brought up in some
like
way.
Right.
Yeah. If it comes up in conversation, I'll talk about it. But I don't know. I don't never start with,
how many.
This is what I do. Yeah. I never do that. Most people tell other people what I do. Yeah. I never lead with that.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It's cringy when people do it though.
What?
Like I don't know. So what I've heard is like it can come off as cringy when you like call people and you're like, yeah, such and such from X, Y, and Z business. Like,
yeah,
they say that it's cringy versus like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, versus just like you said, you let it organically come up because then it's not so forced or like not so like she's trying to sell me something.
Yeah.
And you actually brought this up too, where sometimes she just will ask about the person. Like something off topic of business, like I think she asked David, like like what's your sign or something.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I forget the guy's
the
name.
guy with the traveling.
Yeah. Okay, you were there. She was there. See?
He was like, "You a tourist, aren't you?"
Yeah. So honestly, and that's a lot of times depending who I plan on talking to. If there's someone that's already a speaker, it's kind of easy. And then one thing I've been learning when it comes to networking is. You want to build a relationship. So the best way to build a relationship is not ask. Like, we already know the person makes money. We already know they do this. So then if you want to get to know the person, that's why I was like, okay, well, he's already talking about his birthday being in May. I'm already paying attention to that. Let me throw like a little, what do they call it when you throw like not an axe. What do they say when you throw something in there to kind of
change the flow?
Change the flow. Yeah, what do they call it?
I have no clue.
A wrench?
Yeah.
Is it a wrench?
Yeah, throw it.
Okay.
Look at us knowing our tools. When you throw it,
Barely.
It was a struggle.
It was a wrench or an axe. It was one of them that we were throwing. But that's why I was like, okay, are you a tourist? And it kind of caught him by surprise.
It did.
You
He was
know what I mean?
like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Caught me by surprise. So I'm like, I'm like, oh, she's good at that.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize he said his birthday was in May.
He said his birthday is in May, and I was like, okay. Outside of his birthday being in May, he can only be a Gemini or a Taurus, but he was giving Taurus vibes.
Okay.
So I don't know what it is, but I can always recognize someone that's an Earth sign.
Okay.
So with dating, is there a particular sign that works better for you, or you don't know?
Yeah.
Like, let me clear my throat.
Right. No, honestly, I don't know yet. I don't know, but I will say that there has been a consistent pattern of me dating Virgos. Like, me being more prone to dating a Virgo for a longer period of time or being more attracted to something, whatever they bring. Like, Virgos have been that thing for me. I don't know why, but it never worked out with a Virgo. So, yeah. And they are the complete opposite. I'm a Pisces, and they're the complete opposite sign of me. Why do I think that is?
Yeah.
What?
Like it doesn't work out with Virgos.
I think that I don't know, the Virgos that I have experienced, and my dad's a Virgo too. The Virgos that I have experienced are, they're charming and they have like that thing about them that I like, but they're also like, because they're so charming, they can also be like players and like ladies man, and
What's wrong with a ladies man?
I mean, it's absolutely nothing wrong with you can be a ladies man, but a ladies man who knows who his lady is. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's one of those things.
All the ladies.
He would have to not be so into that. You know what I mean? Like, you can be okay with it, but you feed into it.
Yeah.
Then
I think that's also I think that's a negative trait about a person anyway, because like even if like you were single, like I know what you're talking about. Like they flaunting everybody, they flirt with everybody. Like
they got that
everybody.
Flirtatious vibe. Yeah, they have a very flirtatious vibe. And I think another thing is I do too. I don't realize that I'm doing it because it's just
your personality.
My personality. I didn't even know that I was doing it until recently. But I think.
How'd you find out? Someone told you?
Yeah. And I was like, I'm not flirtatious. So I'm calling around. I'm asking my friends if I'm like, you think I'm flirtatious? And they're like, well, you know, you have a... And I'm like, am I really?
That...
They said I can be warm and welcoming and it can come off as flirtatious.
What I think it is that, right. And
I'm like that too.
Yeah. And also, like, you're charming. Because I've had people be like, yeah, like he was flirting with me. I'm like, bro, like I'm really just not.
I'm just being friendly. I'm being
just because I smile at you or I know how to maintain eye contact doesn't mean that I want to be like take your clothes
exactly.
off. Like, I'm just trying to have a good time.
Right.
I like the vibe.
Like I thought we had, we was vibing. Yeah.
But also too, to the person that finds you attractive, they want like subconsciously maybe that's what they really want, so it'll come across that way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Was it the person that told you, did they think you were flirting with them, or was it a bystander? The
person that told me was one of the Virgo guys that I was dating.
He said you were flirtatious.
He said I can be flirtatious. Because I was just vocalizing how I felt like he was flirtatious. And he was like, well, we're the same. I'm like, I'm not flirtatious. And so it became this thing.
Now I
gotta ask people. Because nobody ever told me that before. So, yeah, I didn't know that that's what I was doing.
So in a relationship, if someone is flirtatious, is that a problem for you?
It's not. It can't be.
Right.
Because I am too. And it's like, it's not and I understand that it's not a switch that you can just turn off. Unless you're intentionally, trying to do it. If you're being yourself, your natural self, and you're charming and you just come off that way and people take it as that, I can't be mad at that. But if you're intentionally, like, then that's a problem. Like, if you just out here trying to be flirtatious, but...
I feel like if you start getting touchy-feely...
Yeah,
then I feel like...
It's boundaries.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you start
don't be in nobody bubble. Yeah, like, keep a certain distance. Like, be respectful about the situation.
And we were talking about drinking. To be honest, that is another reason why. Because he could probably go into that. There was a guy that... It was a friend... It was a brother of a friend that I have. And me and him get really
right. She has a friend who has a brother.
Yes.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Once I start telling the story, you're gonna remember.
I know.
But see, now you know. But we never just hit it off with somebody that y'all are just so cool that y'all are just cool. So y'all naturally just vibe about it. Could be anything, but because you're the opposite sex, sometimes it can come off like, all right, like you said, very flirtatious. And it could have been like that, but then there's also boundaries where like, okay, I'm in a relationship, even if he's not, he knows my man, like we kind of cut it off. But when I drink, I get touchy-feely.
You get touchy-feely.
And that's one of the reasons why I had to pull back on my drinking. And then that's why I was like, okay, maybe I should stop, because I shouldn't never be like hanging over somebody.
Okay.
It's like we're
like she had her like arm over him, and I told her, I was like, look, like, cause I'm just not an insecure person, so I know when it sets my boundary. Like when it hits my boundary, then I'm like, all right, like we either gonna have to nip this in the bud or this ain't gonna work. So it was one of those situations where I just told her, I was like, look, like I'm not an insecure person, but this is making me uncomfortable. Like, cause if the shoe was the other way around, and then I'm like chilling with one of your friends at the bar with my arm around her, and like, yeah, it's platonic, but I still got my arm, and I'm all put my body against her. You would at least ask me about it. Yeah. So, I mean, luckily we have great communication, so it wasn't anything that turned into a problem. But also, it wasn't really so much as her. I also had to tell her, like, I know it's like you're a pretty girl, so you're a pretty woman, so there's only so much that you can do. Like it's only so much that you can do. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna tell you to put on like a whole robe with a hood on. Like, but also still understand how people may perceive what you're doing as well.
Yeah.
Like it has to be some type of a balance.
Yeah.
So like you said, that bubble, like keep that bubble. Like it ain't no outside of a hug, what's up? It ain't no reason why, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Y'all contact is, like, hold on, like we gonna nip that in the bud.
Yeah.
And he my friend too, so I'm like, bro, you definitely gotta nip that in the bud.
Yeah.
So
and you can control how you feel and where your feelings go, but you can't control where another person's feelings could go.
And then that's when the perception of the way I'm coming off can be what's the word? Misconstrued.
Yeah.
So I had to pull back from that.
I feel that.
But also too though, like there's never once where I expect her to hide her beauty for who she is, because she don't be out here just flaunting herself and flaunting her body for everybody, but she's a beautiful woman. So at the end of the day, like,
thank y'all.
I'm not gonna tell her to hide herself, just like I'm an attractive man as well. So being out, if a woman's flirting with me or whatever the case may be, it's about how I handle that or how she handles that. That will, because we deal with that all the time. Like, I mean, we tend to get I hate it sounds arrogant, but like they say you're attractive when you tend to make eye contact with a lot. Like when you look up and somebody like
people looking at you,
yeah. So it's like we get that a lot, and I know I ain't the hottest stuff in the world, but also navigating through that, I'm just a friendly person. I just make sure I don't get too friendly with people.
Yeah. I think that's something that I have to become more conscious of because it's like knowing, like being aware of what I'm doing in the moment that I'm doing it, even though I know that I don't have certain intentions. Like just being more conscious of whatever the case may be. If I'm a little too close, or if I'm talking to you maybe for too long, if we held eye contact for too long, maybe I should. I don't know.
I don't know, because to be honest with you, like, and I've had to check myself on that too. Like sometimes people just have that natural chemistry to have conversation. Yeah. And I think it can be there's so many strict rules on dating and relationships now that everybody's kind of walking on eggshells. Because we were just talking about this yesterday. We watched a podcast not too long ago, and it was two young ladies that were talking. And she asked her, she was like, how do you feel about your friends following your man on social media and him following them? And they were both like, no, absolutely not.
Really?
Like, don't be even hugging my man. Don't be like, and I'm just like, but at the end of the day,
that's
like,
wild.
That's, for me, that just seems like a little bit much. Like,
you can't put so much.
It's like, why not?
Relationships supposed to be fun. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of people just make relationships too strict, and it's just not. They take the fun out of it, and when you start taking the fun out of it, your relationship's not going to work. You know what I mean? You cannot be that strict. Like for example, are you in a relationship or are you single?
I'm not. I'm single.
Are you dating anyone?
I'm not dating.
Not right now?
I'm very single. I am very, very, very. I'm very single.
So when you get into a relationship, how do you feel about if your man looks at other women? Is that a deal breaker?
No, I'm probably looking too. Okay. I mean, I have to be realistic about the situation. Like, we're in a relationship, but he's still a man. He still has eyes. He still finds other women attractive. Like, look, but don't do too much. Right. But
like, don't. If we're in the middle of a conversation, don't just turn your whole head.
And I'm talking. Like, all right, yeah, like be respectful about it. But I mean, I'm not mad if you look. No.
See, that's good. That's good. Because honestly, that's how I am. Like in our relationship, I try to like. He can like. There was a time we actually just talked about this. There was a time in our relationship in the beginning of it where if we went out, we would actually dance with other people. Not intentionally, but if we're at a party and we're just all having a good time.
Said, say less. I said flipping DMs. You the one.
Oh.
Yeah. He was like, say less.
He's funny.
But there was a time where we would go out and we would dance. If someone wanted to dance with me, like if we're all at a party, I wouldn't get mad and he wouldn't get mad. We pulled back from that just because now I feel like there's a lot of stuff you have to be careful with. Because with us being married, we don't wear rings. And a lot of people are like, oh, y'all not really married. I'm like,
never paid attention
we
to
are.
that.
We've been married 10 years. We just don't. I'm not a big ring person. Okay. The only thing I wear is earrings, and I don't even have those in right now. So apparently jewelry doesn't
You're
really
not
matter.
a jewelry person.
I'm not big on jewelry. So it's like I will forget the ring anyway half the time. And
this is interesting.
So we don't wear rings, and because of that, when we go out, a lot of people feel like we're not married, or if we say something, our status doesn't have any weight to it because
y'all don't have a ring.
We don't have a ring. So if we're out dancing with other people too,
I believe y'all are married.
If we go out dancing,
we are you lying about being married?
Right.
We believe it, okay? They say we believe it. That's all that matters. We believe we're married, okay? But if we're out dancing with other people, then it's like, all right, well, if y'all dance with other people, y'all don't wear rings. Then if I turn around, like, after I got to dance with another man, he's like, all right, let me get your number. No, I'm married. What?
They won't take your relationships
they don't take it serious.
They take these hands serious.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay. I know that's right.
But we don't want it to get to that point.
Yeah.
So with that, we started pulling back. So now we don't do that as often, depending where we are, you know?
Like,
now I would say I couldn't do that.
Yeah, he's like, that's a deal breaker.
Yeah, no.
That's a boundary.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm. That's a boundary for me.
And
you can't dance with nobody.
To be honest with you, like we did that more so when we lived in Florida. We were like, we was like 21 in Florida. So like it was, I would consider our relationship still fairly new when we moved to Florida. So it was a little bit different then. I think more so as we got more involved in our relationship, I think what it was I feel like it puts us both at risk. Like, you think, because we've been in a few situations where, you know, a man want to be like, oh, well, you ain't got no ring. And he said it when I went to the bathroom. So it wasn't, like, I didn't really check him on it because I'm like, men gonna do what men gonna do. So but he didn't say it to, like, while I'm here. And then when she told him, like, all right, I'm good, he went about his business. But even for her, like, if I'm everywhere, you know what I mean, I feel like you got women now sizing her up. Because it was like, oh, well, he was just over here with me, like, you know what I mean? It just creates that unnecessary tension. If it's a closed group and maybe it's a little bit more, but even still, I think I would be uncomfortable with that. Now. Like, you can dance with your homegirls or whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, don't be
putting your, So, that's mine.
Yeah.
So what are some, when you're in a relationship, what are some boundaries that you would have? Or is there any?
There's for sure boundaries. But
boundaries.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, relationship or dating?
I guess you can start with dating and then you can get into your relationship. Because I feel like they might go hand in hand, right?
Do boundaries change from dating to relationships?
I think they do.
Yeah.
No, not really. I feel like boundaries just change in general.
Just as you evolve, as you grow. Yeah. Honestly, I don't really know. It would have to, like, because it's such a broad thing, boundaries.
So
like,
you have to just kind of name some things. You'll be like, all right, that's yay or nay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you got a question to ask her real quick? Like a question that's like, you ask her like, okay, is this a yay or nay?
What do I want to ask the famous Brittany Michelle?
Okay, famous.
Yeah. We got to put that in the atmosphere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brittany Michelle the artist, right? That's
Brittany Michelle the artist.
Brittany Michelle the artist. So, like, just ask her in anything, or ask her what would be like a boundary.
Like something like you just give her like a scenario. And she'll let you know if that's like a yay or nay, and then she can kind of elaborate on what that would be.
Yeah, because right now my boundaries are pretty simple when it comes to, because I don't really have stiff boundaries because I'm not in a situation to have boundaries really.
Right.
So it would be like simple things like if I am talking to someone, like, I don't know, this could be petty, I don't know, but this is just me. Okay. It was this guy that was wanting to get to know me. So we talked on the phone a couple times. And then he started calling me at like 11 o'clock at night, midnight, and I didn't really like that because you don't know what I have.
Hours?
I feel like those are booty call hours, and I also feel like you don't really know my situation. Like, you don't know what I have going on outside of talking to you because I'm single. I could have a situation where I could be dealing with somebody. I could be dating more than multiple people, you know what I mean?
Dating.
Yeah, so that was kind of like, that created a boundary for me. Like, I don't want to talk. I don't want you to call my phone 11, 12 o'clock. We're not on that type of level. So that was a boundary. So that created a boundary for me.
Did you tell him that in the beginning or no?
I mean, no, because I didn't think that that's something that would have happened. Like, and I'm also not like, okay, these are my rules. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm accepting. This is what I'm not. Like, I'm not drawn out. We were just having conversations, and maybe he just got really comfortable and felt like we were on that level.
So if y'all are texting and it gets into like 11 o'clock, you think he should have ended the conversation, or do you just not respond?
Well, it wasn't texting, it was calling.
Oh, on the phone.
Yeah, he called me at 11.
Oh, okay. So y'all weren't even on the phone.
We weren't on the phone.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. I don't know, cause like if we're in a talking stage and y'all talked a lot.
We talked for 2 days.
Okay, now I can see. Yeah, that's a little bit more. Like,
and then I was like, whoa, this is what's happening.
I actually, this is the key to the game, to be honest with you.
And he double called me when I didn't answer.
Yeah, that's
okay.
weird.
That's
Oh, but go ahead.
No, that is weird. So honestly, I think
he was like, maybe she didn't get the first call.
Yeah, like
what I've actually learned is. But then all y'all different, so it's like one thing that worked for one woman won't work for the other.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also learned that you're more likely to get the response that you're looking for if you're texting during the day, like not too early, because that whole like it's a meme on there somewhere. Remember the memes? But it's a meme somewhere where they're like, "Hey, beautiful," and they'd be like, "Bro, it's like 5 in the morning."
Like relax, ain't nothing beautiful about me right now.
But yeah, like, but I've learned the experience is actually a lot better when you are, you message a woman during the day, because then like you kind of, it takes you out of the F-boy kind of vibe when you texting at 11, because like, okay, you just want to smash, but then like she's up, she might be out and about in her day, and then I don't know, but other than that, I don't know what questions I would ask about boundaries, because everybody's boundaries are different.
Yeah,
I'm still trying to with the 11 o'clock. I don't know. In my opinion, I don't know if that was a problem.
Yeah.
For me.
You know what?
Because what if he worked like third shift? I mean, I don't know if he did, but I'm just saying, like, what if somebody feels like that's when they're able to wind down? So, like, all right, let me call this person, see if they're up.
He does work. He doesn't work third shift, but he did work during the day, and so I know, like, at night was his like wind down hours. But like, I feel like if you're gonna call me at least let it be like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. Or if you wanted to talk to me at 11, just send a text message. Hey, thinking about you. Hope you had a good day. Good night. You know, like something like that, but not just double call me at 11. Like, I don't know. That just rubbed me.
The double call's a red flag for sure.
Call,
yeah.
It gives pushy.
It was giving pushy. 11 o'clock was pushy enough, and then you're gonna call me twice. Yeah. And then I just feel like we weren't there yet. Like it probably would have been okay with me if we had that, you know, relationship. If we
were you feeling him though at all?
I was at first. I was. Day one, I text my friend like, I'm gonna marry him. I was feeling him, but yeah, that did it. That
so
did
if he
something.
didn't double call, you probably would still give him a chance, even if he called at 11.
I would have called him and told him, you know, I would have had a conversation. It would have been a conversation like, you know, I don't really want you to call me past 9:30. Let's talk before that.
See, and the only reason why I think it's, well, obviously I agree with you now because there are booty call hours, but in the beginning of my relationship, I didn't know there was booty call hours. So I went over to my friend's house at 4 a.m, and it was a guy. I know. So.
Oh, you're wow.
Wilding out, bro.
Oh.
So that's why I was like, I'm testing I'm kind of seeing, okay, where's the boundaries at? Because with me, I went over at 4 a.m, and now, like,
I worked their shit.
Now I know that's not okay. I wouldn't do that now. But that was 4 a.m, and you're like, all right, well, don't call me after 11. Yeah. So I was just, for me, I feel like if someone's gonna do something, they can do it at any time.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So that's where I kind of got rid of the whole booty call hours, because people can call anytime. Because we had a friend that's a mutual friend, and she called him. It was like 12 o'clock. But because we're friends, I was like, okay, well,
we all weren't friends though. That's the difference.
Who?
Like
the 4 o'clock guy.
Yeah, like,
look, we moved past.
Like that was your friend, not mine.
Right, exactly. I never met you.
Yeah, no, it's unacceptable. Yeah. And I also don't feel like it was a booty call thing, like per se. That wasn't really my main like reasoning for not liking that. It was mainly because I just feel like if you want to get to know me, or if you want to, you know, have a conversation with me and get to know me, I don't feel like you should call me after a certain time, just out of respect, like just a respect thing. Like, let me not call her this late.
Yeah. So based off of your schedule, is there a good time to call you? Let's be real. We gonna be real.
That's a great question. Honestly, no. Honestly, there isn't a good time to call me. It really isn't. And I'm discovering that
'Cause
now.
I text you at, like, we're not in a relationship, but I called you at, like, what time? It was, like, I think 8. I was almost getting up to your 9, 10 o'clock time. Your booty call hours. I was getting there. But I called you, I think it was, like, 8 something. And then you told me, hey, I can't talk right now or something. I'll call you tomorrow. And then you called me tomorrow. It was, like, 8 o'clock or something like that. It was something.
Yeah.
But, so it's like, do you really? I don't know. Like,
there isn't a best
if that's
time.
a good boundary for him.
Yeah, I understand that, and I feel like. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I don't feel like there is a good time to call me. It's not like the best hours are between this and this. There is no best hours. I'm always doing something. I feel like if
gotta be quicker than
you
that.
Gotta catch me when you can, and I feel like if I am interested enough in you, I'll make the time. I'll pick up the phone. If I'm not doing something like that I can't, you know what I mean? I'll answer or I'll respond back.
Because you did respond back. So I was like, all right,
I did. I did respond back to you. And I was doing a class. That's the only reason why I didn't answer that one. But if I wasn't in the class, I'd have answered your phone call.
You see, like, and that's a lot of times too. That's why, because they say it goes for women and men, but I think it's universal. Like, anybody that likes you will make time for you.
Yeah.
Like, if, like you said, like, all right, well, I'm in class right now, but when I get out of class, I'll hit you back.
Yeah.
Like, people will make time for you if they really want to.
Yeah.
But as far as that's why I don't double call or double text, and I don't really recommend that, because then if they really want to talk to you, they just will.
Yeah.
But see, that's the part where it's like I have to kind of throw in that wrench again because
she's gonna be saying that all the time.
Now that I know what tool it is, I was saying axe. I'm gonna throw an axe. But because there was on the podcast, I reached out to, because I was gonna have some, because we're doing Spirit Week this week. So for everyone that doesn't know, today we dress like our favorite. Mine's almost gone, but we dress like our favorite Starbucks drink today. And so on Tuesday was Grown and Sexy. So I had reached out to one of our friends, and she was gonna come on Tuesday. Something happened, she couldn't make it, but when I reached out to her the first time, she didn't get it. So she was like, hey, call me twice, because sometimes I don't get the first one. So that's what she texted back and said. So after I called, I did text and say, hey, I called. It's almost like, instead of leaving voicemails now, I'll send a text message to kind of like say what I would have said in a voicemail.
Yeah, and I like that. I like that you call and then text, because sometimes if I get a phone call, I might not necessarily remember to call you back, because I get so many phone calls a day. So it's like, you know, they call. If it was an emergency, they would text me what they wanted. So because you text, it put a sense of urgency, like I really want to talk to you, and it's like, okay, I gotta make sure that I contact this person back. So I do like that.
So that's okay. So I guess for anyone out there, do that.
That might actually be a cool little point for like certain men out there too, because like
we just gave y'all a big gym.
Like this is a gym, right? Like this might be a major key. Like if she don't answer your call, instead of doing a double call, which is pushy, maybe shoot a text like, yo, just shoot you a quick, like it's not like
she'll
a
just
voice
text.
message.
Unless that phone's off.
Like, okay, I'm gonna call him back when I get a chance. It does
don't
that.
Double text after that,
right?
Like,
don't do too much.
So for any men out there, you call, she don't answer, you send a text, and then from there you let it go. And if she don't respond, she just ain't interested. That's the best thing I would say for that. What else?
Or she's too busy and she's not that interested. She could be interested. There's some guy. Crazy thing is this.
I'm saying she don't ever respond.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, have you had that has happened to you?
Currently, it's like I do find like certain people like interesting. Like I do have a certain interest in you. It might not be to the highest extent, but I haven't knocked you off the list.
Okay,
and
you just forgot.
I will remember throughout the day while I'm doing something like, oh, I gotta text them back. That was nice of them to check in on me, and I just literally just don't. But it's not that I'm not interested. It's just that I just haven't gotten to the chance.
So how long did that text go without responding?
This was the Sunday before last, the one that I'm thinking about.
You haven't responded yet?
Mm-mm. And then sometimes, depending on how they...
You better respond now.
I know. Sometimes, depending on what they say to me and how they say it, it's like, oh, that was good. I got to think of how to respond to this. And then I just never do. And that's the situation with that. I was like, he sent a video, like, hey, just checking in on you. I know you're busy. I hope all things went well with such and such and such that you told me about. Just hit me up whenever you get the opportunity. And I was like, oh, that was so sweet. I'm like, how do I respond back to this? Do I send a video back? Do I voice message back? Do I text back? Do I call? And then I just never got to the point. But it wasn't that I'm not interested. It's just you kind of caught me off guard. Right. Yeah.
I think I would have did with me. I think what I would do in that situation is, because I'm not big on the voice memo, but if someone sends a voice memo, then sometimes I'll respond like that, or I just do a simple text. But because he did a video, you could have like did a quick voice memo real quick, and then got it over with while you were thinking about it. Because I also know, like, with us being so busy, if we don't do it right then and there,
it's not happening.
Don't count on me to text you back later, because I probably won't.
I literally won't.
And a week later,
I literally will not. And it's not that I don't want to. It's just that.
You got distracted.
Yeah.
Cause I get distracted.
It's always something. Yeah. And that's true. If I don't do it right then and there, it's just not gonna happen.
So now, with your boundary with the texting, has this conversation changed your mind or no? Still after 11, don't call me.
Yeah, don't call me.
Okay.
Don't call me.
Don't call after 11.
Don't call me.
That's honestly respectable though.
Yeah, I think it is.
Because then it's like, you know, if it makes you a little different than most women too. Because if you have standards. Like it's actually really attractive for a woman to have like certain standards where it's like, because maybe you never know, like sometimes maybe you like, well, I'm not gonna text this person because I know what I'm gonna be on at 11, so you're like, I don't even want to go down that road. You know what I mean? So even it doesn't really matter the reason why, just to have that set, like, okay, well, this is my little boundary, little thing, at least in the beginning, because I mean, you'll know when somebody get in that time, but like you'll know when somebody get into that point where they can hit you up after that time, if the conversation goes over that time. Like, all right, we was talking at like 8, or we was talking at like 9.
Like, oh my, it's going on 11:30.
12 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like, all right, dang, like.
In his defense, y'all, that did happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's probably part of the reason why he felt comfortable to call me so late.
So are you going to reach back out to him, or
that
you
did
done?
happen. We have communicated after that. But I'm done for different reasons now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it just didn't work out.
I won't say it didn't work out. It's just I'm a little difficult. I like for men to try. Like, I want you to try. I want you to put your best foot forward. And if I don't feel like, no, that's not, definitely not. I feel like if you don't put your best foot forward, that means that you aren't that interested, and I don't want to waste your time or mine because I want you to be interested. Yeah. So I want to.
It sucks now because you deal with so much of that. I don't want to look too thirsty now on both ends. Like, because then you think about it, even there's women that's like, there's a guy that they like, and they're like, dang, like he not matching my energy. Like, this is a guy I really like, but he treating me like he ain't really got time for me.
Like he not that interested.
And then you got men that's like on the same wave, like, dang, she ain't really making time for me. So I definitely feel like you if you don't, I think one of the things too is like, if you don't know based off of the other person's energy, then don't really be too pushy. Because like with her, when we first started talking, like she matched my energy. Like I was like, yo, when you free? I'm free on this date, this day. Like if she not free on it, like I'm not free on this day, but I'm free on this time. Like if she's willing to like set something up and follow through, there was never a time out of all of the women that like, because at that time we were both single, so I would consider it like in my thought phase, like where I had a lot of female friends at that time. Plus I had my heart broke, so I was just like, I was future, like, you know,
outside.
There's a time too where we were just talking, we were just friends, but there's this place that he actually took me to. I don't know if I went before the time that I'm about to tell you the story, but me and my mom was on our way to, I think, Applebee's to pick up some to-go food. And we lived in Ohio at the time, and there's this place called Valley View where you can kind of go and truckers will sleep there, but you can kind of go and see over the city. So it is really, really nice because it's a Walmart right there, but they closed it down. So pretty much truckers will just go there now. But anyway, if you go up there, you're going up there to just have like an intimate time, or you're going up there to sleep, depending on who you are. If you're not a trucker, you're going up there to have an intimate time, smoke, drink, chill, whatever you want to do, whatever that intimate time is. It's a vibe, right? So while we're going to Applebee's, my mom sees him coming out with another girl in the car, but we're just friends. Okay.
Okay.
Sees him coming out with another girl in the car.
pissed.
And she was pissed because, you know, like,
she really wanted
us to work. You know how you bring a guy around, we're just friends, but your mom's like, ooh, y'all gonna be a thing. And they're the one pushing for it. So that's how my mom was with him. And my mom's like, you see him coming out? And she was like, give me your phone, I'm about to call him. This is what she's telling me. I'm like, Mom, we're just friends. We're not, like, I was still talking to guys. Like, I had a thing, I was dating and stuff. So I was like, I can't be mad that he's still dating because of that. So I forget why I brought that story up, but you had said something that made me think about that. But
oh no, because I was saying, so back to my point. So like I was dating at that time, and then when me and her started talking, like we were just friends for like 3 months. Like we were platonic friends for 3 months, and then like we were just cool. I actually started cutting a lot of my female friends, platonic or non-platonic, off before we went, like when I actually knew, like, all right, I'm gonna make her my girl. Like I was already getting rid of them, and I think the reason why that was is because I never had to second guess her energy. Out of all the women that I talked to, it's like, well, anytime I call her, she either answer or she call me back. She always texts me back, or she'll text me back when she's not busy. If I make plans, she down to make plans. She'll also make plans with me, like, you know, so she always matched my energy. So it's like, I think it's difficult now. I feel bad for like people that are still like out,
like me. Feel bad for y'all single folks out there, still trying to make it
happen.
Still trying to figure it out.
I feel like between social media, I feel like social media has messed it all up because everybody's standards are so high.
You think so?
Like, absolutely.
I feel like I do feel like social media has a major role in messing up relationships. But I also feel, for me,
don't say it like that.
I don't feel like social media has my standards high. I think I just already have high standards. Cause I don't really care about what people doing on social media. Like I'm still realistic about certain things. You know, I don't really care about that. But I feel like my
if he doesn't have a social media, you'll still talk to him.
Yeah, one of my ex didn't have a social media. Okay. I loved that.
I heard this thing where they was like, you don't even have social media. That's weird. I'm like,
no, I enjoyed that. Yeah. I thought that was very dope in him.
He's very peaceful, and I feel like he's disciplined.
Yeah,
if you don't have a social media.
Yeah, a certain type of mindset comes with somebody who doesn't have a social media or care to have one at all.
Right.
Yeah,
because if it was up to me, like literally the only reason I have one at this point is
business.
Yeah. Or like
podcast.
Or if it's family or somebody that I don't really talk to a lot, but like we still have a friendship. We just in different parts of the world or whatever, trying to like keep up with them or whatever. But for the most part, like I'm a millennial, so I didn't, I was. First social media for me was MySpace.
Me too.
Yeah, so it's like, but nobody really, it wasn't as big of a deal as it is now.
Yeah.
Where it's like, that's kind of like your social ID.
Yeah.
So, but even though social media is involved now, I think I always make a big effort for, like, if we're having a conversation or we're out or whatever the case may be, it's like, all right, we'll just stay off of my phone. Because sometimes we can forget about the person. You know what I mean? Like, we're so busy likes and comments. But no, I think that's a really amazing trait. So what are your standards for a guy?
Before you answer that, let's go ahead and end this live, and then because I don't want to cut us out.
Okay.